Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Upgrade to the home of your dreams with Manny and Courtney from CMK Construction. CMK Construction is Tampa's award-winning kitchen and bath leader for over 20 years. Right now, save $3,000 on a new kitchen and $2,000 on a new bathroom. And take advantage of our no money down and no interest financing until 2026. Imagine, design, build. Tired of your
Streaming
old
from the ABC Action Weather Center in Studio A. This is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by CMK Construction, crafting Tampa's most exquisite bathrooms and kitchens.
Hello there, DPL folk. It is a Friday night. Hey, check behind me. We got new monitors back here. I have no idea if they're going to help out with the fact that they go to black every time we have lightning anywhere between us and Topeka. But Josh, have they gotten to black yet tonight?
They have not.
I have not seen them either go to black. So maybe, I don't know if it was lightning or maybe we'll find out. But it was a thing. See, you always thought that I needed to have high-tech weather data to find out whether there were thunderstorms near me. It was actually just whether these monitors would go to black. And then I would know that there was lightning nearby. We are not on TV tonight. The WNBA is on the spot. Tampa Bay 66, OTA 66.1, Spectrum 17, Frontier 23. I don't know about the other stuff yet. I don't think there's been an official announcement yet for the other places where you can watch stuff. But we are here, so it's kind of like the OG folks here. We're back to Facebook and streaming, and I do not have to worry about pressing this button or timing my show. Hey, if I press this button, will the WNBA go to a break? Now you know what? That's an interesting question. Let's call Master Control and ask them, because that is a good question. So let's see. All right. See, this is actually what DPL, Scott is Dennis. So I have a question for you. If I were to press the DPL commercial button, would that then put the WNBA broadcast on a commercial break? Ah, no power. Okay, all right. All right, thank you. All right, bye. No, apparently I've lost the power because it would not work. So I can press this button. I'm gonna press it now. Nothing happened. Had to try. Anyway, how you guys doing? We have got a lot of stuff to talk about. TV folk are missing, unless maybe the TV folk are watching on, this. Maybe they have the WNBA up on their TV, and at the same time they are watching DPL on their phone. We got flash flood warning in effect to Hillsborough County till 9 o'clock. Let me check and see. Sean, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, so I will be honest. I sometimes get so locked in on that clock that's right there because I'm somewhat panic-stricken that I'm going to go way too heavy. And even though you guys are huge helps, because I'll see in the comments, go to break, Dennis, go to break. But I ignore you as I ignore my producers and just keep talking. So then the last segment is like 17 seconds because I'm already too heavy. Let's do some hellos. So we've got Stan. So I got this cough. Whatever. It's, I've been sick. Kathy in Sarasota, how are you doing? Jules, yep, no breaks. So I'm on YouTube TV. Ooh, wait a minute. You're on my TV YouTube. Now no, wait a minute. Okay, I need you to follow up on that. We're not on YouTube TV, right? I'm on YouTube on my channel. And I have heard there's some nonsense and tomfoolery and shenanigans going on with people that, where's my ban button? Stand by. Gotta go get my ban button. I was looking out for my ban button because I actually heard that on YouTube TV, or not on YouTube TV, on my YouTube stream, that there's been some people that need to be banned. I don't know how to ban people on my YouTube channel because I'm never on my YouTube channel. Matter of fact, apparently I get warnings from my YouTube channel because the music that we use for the opening of this show, apparently, even though we pay for copyright, Jonathan's like, what? We pay for copyright to use music, but apparently it doesn't transfer over to YouTube because I get copyright violations every single day from my YouTube channel because of that little 10-second video music that we play. So Jonathan's like, really? Yeah, Jonathan's the director of it. Yeah, I get that every day. Literally, I get the warning from YouTube. This is a warning. You're using copyrighted, and I'm not. I dispute it, but they don't listen to me. So anyway, so that's why I really haven't paid much attention to YouTube because they're mean anyway. All right. Hey, Mike in Sarasota, how you doing? Inverness, R.A., good to see you. Spring Hill, Amanda. Ryan, as always. Anna Maria. So I have Diet Coke because Greg D went into my fridge and absconded all my Diet Dr. Pepper. It's a true story. So like when he was filling in for me last week, he was drinking Diet Dr. Pepper. It was just pounding him. And I went back to my little mini fridge back there, and there ain't nothing in there. It's just Diet Cokes. So Greg absconded the Diet Dr. Pepper. I will restock this weekend, though. So we are on, I think you're on your local TV. Yeah, I am on the streaming app. But I do not need to push commercial breaks for the streaming app. So anyway, guys, we got a lot to talk about. I can't believe I have not got that. Let me see if I get the weather, because it's got to be here soon. Anyway, we got a lot of weather to talk about. So let's just go ahead and jump in. All right. Yeah, somebody just said here, Pamela said, had to leave my physical room. You need to create a moderator on YouTube TV in order to do banning in case they didn't say that. I am hearing that. I've heard that. I've heard that from people, that there's some people saying that. All right, anyway, let's go back to radar. Let's look at radar, shall we? Here it is. Oh, there's an invent. Is there an X now, Jason? Is that X finally there? We've been talking. Stand by. Jason is breaking news. It's not Jason Adams. It's a different Jason. Hold on. NHC. Stand by. Oh, there it is. There it is, my friends. I have been talking about this one for what? Like, you don't normally hear me talk extensively about something that has not even come off of Africa like 5 days before. But the last time I did, it was Irma. And I talked a lot about Irma when it was still over Africa. And I talked about this a few days ago where I probably shouldn't have. Turned out I was right, but I don't like to talk that far in advance about something, but there it is. So when we're going to look at the models, we're going to show you all the models about it because the models are all over the place. And I've been posting about it for days. And I knew that X was eventually going to happen, and now there it is. Now it is a yellow X. Odds are it will go orange. Odds are it will go red. Odds are it will become a tropical depression, storm, and possibly even a hurricane. So we're going to go through all the models, and then we'll see what our thoughts are on this. I will be honest, as I'm looking over at it, they really haven't changed much from last night. But let's start with the local radar first. Start about what's going on out there. The drought is over. Oh, yes, it is, Kurt. I don't disagree with you at all on that. I don't like Coke Zero. All right, Jules. Now, maybe that's an unpopular comment. See, I don't like Coke. Okay, I don't like any of the zero sugar products. And let me tell you why. This is my opinion. I think the zero sugar products taste more like the real thing at first, but then they have a really, to me, noticeable aftertaste. Whereas the diet drinks don't taste like Coke, and Diet Dr. Pepper doesn't taste like Dr. Pepper, but it has, to me, a lighter feel to it, and it doesn't have that really strong aftertaste. Coke Zero, to me, has a huge aftertaste. Any of the zeros have a huge aftertaste. At first, they taste a lot like the real thing, but then they got that aftertaste, and it drives me crazy. So I just like the regular Diet Dr. Pepper and Diet Coke. All right, let's get back to radar. Stop making me go on tangents, because you know I will. You know it is impossible for me to not, oh, see, now Andrea loves Coke Zero. I don't. I just don't. That's just me. All right, here's radar. Let's go ahead and look at what we got here. You guys are talking now about Coke Zero. I see it. All right. The heaviest rain is just about over. So, still some heavy rain across the bay. Heaviest is offshore. Oh, you can see the flash flood warning. Yeah, let me go back over there. Right there is the flash flood warning. You know, I should post that on social media. It's until 9 o'clock, and that's emergent. Yeah, see, all right. I don't usually post flash flood warnings for our area because they just aren't like the ones on rivers and in other areas, but I will read it to you. And this was issued an hour ago, literally an hour ago at 6:35. 6:35, Doppler indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Between 3 and 5 inches of rain have fallen. An additional 1 to 2 inches are possible. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. Some locations that will experience flash flooding include Plant City and Plant City Airport. So, I don't know, what do you think? Should I post that? Nah, I think it's too late to post. I'm going to post it an hour ago. But I don't buy the whole flash floods for our area the majority of the time. But check out how much, still some heavy rain from Ruskin, east of Gibsonton, across the bay. But let's look at how much rain we've seen in the last 12 hours. I could go 24 hours, which is even more impressive. So you look at the last 24 hours, and you have seen, going from north to south, Crystal River, 5 inches of rain. 6 inches of rain around Homosassa. Weeki Wachee, 3 to 5 inches of rain. Pine Island, not 2/100ths of an inch of rain, or 2/10ths of an inch of rain. Brooksville, 4 to 5 inches of rain. Dade City, 2/10ths of an inch. So again, classic Florida stuff here. Some areas got annihilated with heavy rain. Look at the area around Lute, 6 inches of rain. All this purple area is 4 to 6 inches of rain. From the west of the WC, Tarpon, Landsbrook, along the coast, Newport Richey, not as much. Right along the coast, 2 inches of rain. But that whole purple area is 4 to 5 inches of rain. And then you get the area toward South Tampa, actually in the bay, nearly 7 inches of rain. Bloomingdale, 5 inches of rain. Mango, 5 to 6 inches of rain. This is all in the last 24 hours. Then you get some areas, bupkis, nothing. That is Florida. That is just classic Florida. Pinellas County, 6 inches of rain south of Pinellas Park. Between Seminole and Largo, 3 inches of rain. Again, the last 24 hours. And then Clearwater, not as much. There's a guy on my Facebook page who said, oh, I've had no rain in the last 2 weeks. Well, you got to get out of the house because there's no way you have not had rain over the last 2 weeks. There's no way. There's no way. All right, so there's everything moving back toward the coast. You remember the last few days we've talked about that mid-level disturbance is moving across and going to give us significant rains? If you weren't watching, you should have been, because we were talking a lot about this. Tomorrow morning, here's the thing now. Inland areas through the weekend will see less rain than coastal areas. Furthermore, I think we start to see the rain mid to late morning as opposed to all afternoon and evening stuff. There's through lunchtime. There's through 4 o'clock. For the Bucks game, you'll be dodging raindrops either in the tailgating or in the game. There's going to be some scattered showers out there. Will not rain the whole time, but there's going to be some rain. The game has, I think, 7:30 kickoff. They're taking on the Titans. I think Cam Ward's probably going to be starting. I don't know if he's going to be starting, but you got to figure he's going to be playing for the Titans. If you're not familiar, Cam Ward's the #1 draft pick in the NFL this year, played for the Hurricanes, the Miami Hurricanes, not the Carolina Hurricanes. That's a hockey team, which we all know since we are now on the spot, the official broadcast home of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now look at Sunday. Look at all that moisture and look at all that rain offshore. And even through the morning, we could be looking at some pretty substantial rain along the coast Sunday morning. But look inland, pretty much zippo. That takes us through Sunday, all right? Monday and Tuesday, we're back to more late day, early evening storms with less rain. Notice the coverage Monday and Tuesday, significantly lower. There's a look at, there it is, there's the new one. Now that number's wrong because I have not updated it yet. What is the number, by the way? That has to be done manually. That number is 0 and 20. So, yeah. Greg would normally dial in and do this, but Greg is on his way to Fort Lauderdale with his husband. So Greg has not done this. So I'm forced to do it. But if you look at where the X is. See where the X is? There it is. This is the one that we have been talking about for days on end. I'm going to go ahead and save this perspective and I got to change these. I'll do it before the 11 o'clock news. But there it is, right there. That X is the one that will need to be watched. Okay, got it? And you can see it coming off the coast of Africa. And do you see how it's farther south than the other one? We've been saying this for days. And there was some guy who I actually banned and blocked and everything today on Facebook. I don't normally block for people who are obnoxious on Facebook posts. Occasionally I do. But this guy, I think his name was Ray. I can't remember. But that in itself, he should be blocked. But he's like, oh, where's the X there off of Africa you've been talking about? It's not even happening, is it? I'm like, give it a couple more hours. It's going to happen. And it did. Okay, so let's look. There's where it is now. Now, before we show you the models, and I'm about to show you all the models, I'm going to recap what I talked about earlier. When you look on social media and anyone is posting the 13 or 14-day forecast, run. People can post whatever they want to. But my advice to you is, I'll say it again, why would you want to post something that you know is going to be wrong? Are you doing it to prepare people? I argue no. Because if it's wrong 97% of the time, how are you preparing people? It makes no sense. People can do what they want to, but it makes no sense. If you were to be responsible and say like, all right, if you're trying to help people as opposed to make a quick buck, then, at that point, you show the ensembles, because at least the ensembles show you a more realistic, broad brush view of what's happening. There ain't no operational model on the face of this earth that's going to be able to tell you 12 days out where a hurricane's going to be. I mean, if you did it 100 times, maybe it'd be right once or twice, but you're going to be wrong the other 98 times. You tell me how that's helping anybody in any way. Oh, because it's helping them prepare and get ready. No, because it's going to be wrong 98% of the time, and then that means the other 2%, they're going to be like, well, it's probably wrong, so you're not going to be helping them again. Now, you show the ensembles, which I'm going to show you right now. At that point, you at least have a realistic spread of what could be going on out there. Okay? Yes, we do have new monitors, Ryan, and they have yet to flash with the lightning. So that's a plus. All right, so let's go ahead and look. Here is the Euro's ensemble. And boy, this is a perfect example. Oh my, this, you know what? This right here, okay. I could not give you a better reason of why posting operational runs are idiotic 12 days out. All right? What I'm about to show you, and both models verify it, is a perfect reason of why if you're doing it, you're not doing it for the best interest of your followers or your viewers. You're doing it to make a buck. You're not helping people. You're not preparing them more. It's a bunch of nonsense. You're doing it to make some waves and to make a buck. Period. All right? And I'll show you why. Okay. So here we go. Greg drank all the Diet Dr. Pepper. Okay. I don't know who this person is, but they were hidden automatically. Their name is Ryan, and Ryan got banned forever and the afterlife. So, in fact, Ryan's comment was so comical that Facebook actually just blocked him immediately. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm looking. Before I jump into these, I do want to look at comments because you guys are bickering, and I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I definitely want to be able to, ban people if they need to be banned. It's what we live for. Okay. Anyway, whatever. Now I'm going to show you this. Could not be a better example. Here is a look at the European ensemble. Okay? There's the European ensemble. Look where the overwhelming majority of these members go. Out to sea. There's maybe, out of 50, there might be 8 that actually make landfall in the U.S. So less than 20%, okay? So the euro is leaning clearly toward a curve, all right? But yet, if you look at the operational run of the European, look where it takes it. Right into the Outer Banks. Landfall in the Outer Banks of the Carolinas, which, by the way, is absolutely a possibility. I mean, I've shown you that map 11 billion times. It's the most common track. But the point is, look, and the AI is even better, but in terms of making my point, look at where the European operational model is, and look at where the European ensembles are. Overwhelmingly majority are east of the U.S. So, you are taking an operational run and making more out of it than the model really wants to. But the AI is even better. Look at the AI. Here is the AI, okay? Now, first of all, it's everywhere. It's literally from the middle of the ocean to Mexico. It couldn't, and look, it's early. It's right, it's early. It's okay that a model is this far off because it's not supposed to know this far out. Okay? So there's a look at the AI ensembles. Code word for we don't know yet. Does it look like the majority are curving? Well, you know what? Probably. I'm not going to count, but what do you say? Maybe 35 are offshore and 15 are onshore? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, well, not even. Maybe 11 or 12. So 40 are offshore and 10 are onshore. That's the European ensemble AI. Look at the AI operational. Dead smack. Wait a minute, that's Hatteras. That is Hatteras, yeah. Wait. Oh yeah, oh boy, they're both showing the same. They're both showing the same now. So the Euro AI and the Euro are both going Hatteras. Now, here's the trend. I'm going to call up last run of the Euro AI. I'm going to call up the 0Z Euro AI and show you what it did. Because that run of the Euro had it pretty much going right into South Florida. Yeah, there you go. No. Yeah. Yeah, it had it into Texas, actually. Had it into Texas. So you've gone from 12 hours ago having this going into Texas to now having it going into the Carolinas. So it is exactly what you would expect. So if you're showing somebody this 12 hours ago, oh, look, it's going to go to Texas. And then you got somebody 12 hours later saying, no, it's going to the Outer Banks and it may miss everybody entirely. Do you see my point? It's a waste of time. You show the ensembles and you look, and by the way, this is my point. If you are looking on social, you're going to see me showing the ensembles because they give you a better representation of the overall model, what it's thinking. And the lean to this is more offshore. Now, let's look at the GFS. What do you think the GFS is doing? Splitting the difference. GFS is going into Texas. Now, yesterday, the GFS was going into Miami. So the moral of this story, my friends, is this far out, there is no place and no person on earth who is going to know where this is going to go. But what is consistent is that they are all turning this into a sizable hurricane. So the odds are certainly higher that you're looking at a well-organized storm coming in from the south. Now, let's go back and look at what we've talked about in the past. All right? If you look at, and I've shown you this map a lot, but I'll show it to you again. If you look at what is the most common track in August for these storms, it is the exact track that the European is showing. See that? Literally the exact track. And it happens to also be the most common track. So, what I'm saying is, I believe there will be a developing hurricane. You know, we'll see how it plays out. But this early, it's just impossible to know for sure where it's going to go. And I think the ensembles speak volumes, because when you look at all of the ensembles, they're literally anywhere from the North Atlantic to Mexico. It's just too early. All right? But it is not something that can be completely ignored, whereas the last two could be ignored. Now let's look at the 18Z, because by the way, we're going to lose streamers in a couple of minutes. I have not even looked at the 18Z, but I'd be willing to bet that they change dramatically as well, because it's just what happens. So if we were to go back in and call up, let's go ahead and call them up. Let's see if the 18Z is even here. This is a site I subscribe to. So here's the 18Z. Nope, not updated yet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and look at the GFS 18Z. Okay, so let's refresh. 18Z, oceans, Atlantic, Mercator. Okay, so remember this GFS had it in Texas at 12Z. Let's see what it does with 18Z, shall we? Okay, here's the 18Z GFS. Let's see what it does. I bet my bottom dollar it ain't gonna be Texas. Probably gonna curve. All right, so here we go. Yep, you can already tell. Look how far north it is. Look how far north it is. Yep, and there comes a front. Look at that front coming in. And what's that front gonna do? Up, boop, bring it right north. So we have gone from 6 hours ago having it all the way down in the Caribbean, or no, not in the Caribbean, in the Straits, into Texas, to now completely missing the U.S. and not even close. This is my point. The models are proving our point dramatically. Guys, don't even consider or worry about the operational runs. And if you see them on a Facebook page, just ridicule that person. Because, and I don't know of anyone personally who actually does them. I've seen them on my feed though, but I don't know of people who actually post them. Anyway, streamers, have a great night and a great weekend. Okay, Facebook, we are still here. So there you go. Okay, so we looked at the 18Z GFS. Let's look at the 18Z Euro. Which, by the way, the 18Z is not going to be as accurate the majority of the time. The data is not nearly as good. All right, let's look at the Euro. So my point is being proven. All right, my point is being proven clearly why you don't post operational runs. If you're posting it, it's to get a rise out of people. You are not posting it because you're trying to help the general public, because it's not helping anybody. All right. Okay, what is the difference between 12 and 18? It's just 6 hours later, Ashley. 12Z, it's just based on Zulu time. Yes, this was the one I've had my eye on, Will. Yes, it is. Okay, here's the 18Z. Oh, but I didn't call up for enough days. Actually, it might not be far enough out yet. Yeah, I don't think it's far enough out yet. It's still running. At least for the access that I'm trying to get to. Yeah, it's still running. So, don't have it yet. But I think we made our point, right? I think we made our point. Point is, look, people do whatever they want to, and I'm truly not suggesting someone shouldn't do something. Like, they do what they want to. But my suggestion to you is, if you are looking at a model run that is 12 days out, it is a complete waste of time. And if it's being posted, people are trying to spin it as, oh, we're trying to notify. That's a bunch of nonsense. You're not notifying anybody anything if it's wrong 97% of the time. Period. Period. Now, if you want to notify someone, then you show an ensemble, and then you give that time frame, August 21st to August 23rd, which is a general agreement. Then you're doing a public service. That's my take. You can disagree, but that's my take. All right, so there you go. Vicki, absolutely wrong. Totally wrong. You know what? When there's real weather, now this is the difference, Vicki, from now to a month ago. A month ago, we had nothing to talk about. We had nothing going on. Thunderstorms, no. We had it sunny and we had a drought. Now, we got real weather to talk about. And I do not take lightly the responsibility of the real weather. So, Vicki, I will not ban you, but you're on warning. All right? I'm just telling you, you're being warned. All right? Okay. So, do we have any questions about the storms or anything else that's going on? Good question, Brittany. Because less data is put in to the 18Z run as opposed to the 12Z run. Many times, weather balloon data goes out twice a day. And those times in which a lot of the times that model data is put into the models would be the 0Z and the 12Z runs. All right, that's a good question. All right, what else we got? Yeah, Laura, I went back into my refrigerator. I opened it up. All the Diet Dr. Pepper, gone. Gone. It's okay. I share. See, now Greg brings in candy, but he brings in peanut butter. I'm going to admit it. I'm not a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup fan. I know it's sacrilege, but I'm not a Reese's. I'm not a peanut butter. I don't like peanut butter. I know, I don't, but nevertheless, he'll bring in peanut butter cups. But fortunately, I have got a lifetime supply of Diet Dr. Pepper because people still drop them off at my front door at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's a true story. My Ring doorbell will go off. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what is it? Oh, no, it's just somebody dropping off Diet Dr. Pepper. It's awesome. Okay. Let's see. What else? What else do we have? Okay, Disney. Okay, so someone's asking about the time frame. Good question. Okay, two things. First of all, 21st to the 24th. That's the time frame. Someone's asking about rule number 7. From Chicago, it's Zephyrny. So rule number 7 is don't freak out unless I'm freaking out, we're fine. It started back at Hurricane Isaac back in 2012, okay? Back in 2012, we had a hurricane that was coming right when the Republican National Convention was here. And people were, and it was at Amalie, it was at the Ice Palace. I still call it the Ice Palace. So what happened is they were talking about moving it to Jacksonville because they were afraid that Isaac, which was the storm, was going to completely mess up the RNC. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Don't freak out. We're going to be okay. And I created these rules talking about Isaac. But it kind of turned into a thing that worked for most hurricane season in terms of preps. And at that point, it just kind of became a thing. So much of a thing that we have our own line of merchandise that we use as a fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network, Feeding Tampa Bay, and all that stuff. And it's right here. Now, if you go to the top of my Facebook page, you'll see a post about it and the link at the bottom of the page. We've closed on our Etsy page because they take too much money. They take too big of a cut, and that goes directly from the charity. So you go through this, and all the merch is right here, and we are working on a zip-up hoodie. It's going to happen this weekend because a lot of folks have asked about zip-up hoodies. So it's all right here. All the money goes to charity, and you know it's something that we've been doing in our family for quite a while. So there you go. All right. I don't like Snickers either, Gwen. I'm going to be honest, and I know there's a lot of folks who do. I'm actually a Milky Way guy. I love Milky Way, but I don't like Snickers. But I'm not a peanut butter guy. I don't know. I'm just not. Okay, so let me see. What else do we got here? I know, Nicole. I'm just not a peanut butter guy. And my kids mock me as well. Okay, so Regina wants to know if the Weather Service job cuts are going to interfere with anything. Great question. Our Chad Mills did a story on that Wednesday, went to the local office. They are rehiring at the Weather Service right now. Our local weather service, and dare I say all the Florida weather services, I think are just fine. Now, do they need more staff? And I'm not speaking for them, but they will have plenty of staff during hurricane season, and the data was not cut. The DoD extended the microwave data through September of next year, so we'll have all the stuff that we need. So again, I'm not going to speak for the Weather Service. I'm quite sure I'm assuming they're going to always say they need more people. But we were talking to Brian Lamar, who's the former MIC at Ruskin, the head meteorologist, the head honcho, the grand poobah. And he retired recently. He said, I believe there were 6 spots that were open, but that is not unusual for them to, with turnover rather, that there always was the need for more, but they feel confident in their ability. So the answer to your question is, I am very confident that the data will be there, and I'm very confident that the people will be there. All right? Let's see, what else do we got? Good night, Mary. So, Seth, don't know the answer to that, but you're not going to need to board anything up anytime soon. I'm very confident about that. Okay, great question. Jamia wants to know when the colors went from green to blue. That is a good question. Let me show you. If you look on the scales, let me take this full for you. They are posted right here. So the color coding. Joel, I love Kit Kat. I'm a big Kit. It does still show Etsy, but that's not what we're using. And Etsy still is up and running, by the way, Herrera. But I'm going to cut them off. I'm going to cut it off because they take too much of a cut. So, Joel, I do love Kit Kats. Not going to lie. So there is a look at the color coding and what that is. And what those mean is it's a pressure. So the green is 1,000 to 1,005, and that's probably tropical storm force. The blue is 980 to 991. That's probably Cat 1 hurricane. The red, 960 to 979. That's probably Cat 2, or even potentially Cat 3, but probably Cat 2 hurricane. And then whatever color that is, like what is that, like a salmon? 950 to 959, that's probably Cat 3. Greater than 950, you could argue probably Cat 4. So the colors that you see are relating to that scale right there. Okay? Busch Gardens tomorrow, Robin wants to know, from 2 to 7. Yeah, it's going to rain. It's going to rain. I would never tell, Robin, here's my suggestion. And I say this to anybody at any point in time from August through September. All right? Look at radar before you go on out. That's what I always do. Look, we all know how Florida can be. The weather, ridiculously fickle. So just because, and you'll see 60, my daughter, Ryan, does it all the time. Hey, Alexa, what's the weather going to be like? Drives me crazy. You might see 60% coverage or 70% coverage. Like, well, you know what, we might be okay. I strongly suggest looking at radar before you leave and kind of see where things are popping and the direction in which they're moving. It at least gives you a little bit better idea than going out blind. I mean, we post radar all the time. We post updates, so you'll be able to see them. But I think the chances are very high that you are going to have rain at some point in time tomorrow afternoon at Busch Gardens. Now, if you want to, I would not reschedule anything from the 22nd to the 25th. Nah, I mean, the bottom line, if you looked at the ensembles, most everything was curving away from the coast anyway. So I would ignore the operational runs, focus on the curve, on the ensembles, and see where the majorities are, and see how they alternate from every 12 hours. And I'll be posting it and talking about it, and we'll be doing that for the next 2 months. Donna said they'll be the first to buy a zip-up hoodie. I promise you, we will have those in shortly, because we've been looking. See you later, Abby. Have a good night. Okay, in terms, Annie, gut feeling, I mean, look, the gut feeling thing, I'm not a huge fan of it, because it's not really science driven. But remember, I told you the story. One of my Met professors at Penn State, Dr. Chelius, he's like 50% art, 50% science. So there is something to it. My gut is it will become a hurricane. And then at that point, we are leaning. If that front comes down, if a front comes down, it'll curve. If we get a front coming down like the 18Z was showing, then it will curve and not hit anybody. But at this point, 12 days out, no way. We're just not accurate enough to know that. Okay. What else do we have? Bridget's talking about peanut butter on hamburgers. Very funny. Yes, you can. It does take Apple Wallet, Lisa. Fourth wall does take Apple Wallet. So are we heading into a La Nina, Casey wants to know. It's a good question. And honestly, that is what the trend has been. The accuracy on La Nina predictions are lukewarm at best. But that was the prediction that we were heading into it. Ryan wants to see the drought index. All right, Ryan. Let's go ahead and give you the drought index. Offshore fishing, Seth. The waves, believe it or not, aren't going to be all that terrible. Probably 2 to 3 feet, maybe as high as 4. All right, Ryan, let's look at the drought. There are the drought numbers. All right? So, hasn't really been much of a change. We have been pretty dry over the last 10 days or so. So, I would say after this week, look, we're in a pretty good position. Whether or not the numbers there show that we're in a drought or not in a drought, we're in a pretty good position. Yes, we've been a little dry with all the heat that we had last week, but overall, I think we're looking okay. Diana, ensembles are a cluster of models within the same model. They can be shown as a spaghetti strand. They can be shown as little circular dots. How they're shown really doesn't matter. I think it's sometimes easier to understand them as they're spaghetti strands, but they're also shown in other ways as well. But the point of the ensemble, here's what an ensemble is. It's real easy. If you take the GFS or the Euro or any model, all right, and it has its main operational run, which is based on an average or a mean of a lot of the other ones. But all it does is it tweaks specifics a little bit for 50 times in most models. So what you'll have is, in other words, it's predicting what it's going to be like, but if it's a little bit off this way, one of the ensembles will take it. If it's a little bit off this way, one of the ensembles will have that. So it gives you, based on a margin of error, right, over a period of time, it gives you kind of an average of what it would be showing one extreme to the other. Now, remember, the AI model takes the information and also adds in decades of data that has been looked at, documented, and put into the model, all right? So what it does is it takes the current state of the atmosphere and compares it to another period in time. And then it looks at that other period in time and says, well, what happened here? And then it tries to figure out, well, if it happened this way then, maybe it'll happen this way there. And there you have the logic behind the AI. I think she is, Regina. Maybe she's a little nervous, but I do think she is. You know what, Shelley? I keep looking for umbrellas on that site, and they don't have it. So we're still looking for umbrellas, because you're right, that would be a great thing to have. But every site that I've looked at does not really have umbrellas. Bridget, you're flying between 2 and 4. Are you flying into Tampa? Bridget, are you at a Toto concert? Come on, be honest. Yeah, it's probably going to be raining. Nicole, I don't disagree. It does have the look of back when we had Irma, but if a front comes down, it's going to be completely different. Thank you, Noah. Appreciate it. Very kind. Ramona, we did not miss the timing of the rain. We said mid to late afternoon through the evening. I mean, it's Florida in the summertime. That's when it was. Now, I will tell you, Futurecast, look, there's not a model on Earth that's going to be able to predict exactly what time these things are going to pop in certain areas. It's never going to be accurate enough. In the wintertime, it can predict frontal passage, right? It can time that out and do a really nice job. But our afternoon thunderstorms change wildly based on the sea breeze, based on the Gulf breeze, based on all these other things. So we can give you a ballpark, mid to late afternoon, coming back toward the coast. But yeah, showing Futurecast, if it's going to show you a specific spot at a time, it ain't gonna be right. It's just not. I'm still looking at people talking about peanut butter on hamburgers. Ugh, I don't even get it. But you know what? Some people love peanut butter. Like some people obsess about it. I just have never been a peanut butter guy. Back to school on Monday. The rain will be less significant on Monday. Okay? El Nino is much worse, Noah. No, I'm sorry. La Nina is much worse because what will happen with a La Nina, the Caribbean is far more open, and a Caribbean storm is our biggest concern. El Nino, more often than not, squashes the Caribbean and makes it very, very difficult for storms to form. Kathy's asking about Bridget's question. I think I did. That was 2 to 4. Bridget, was that your question? Dylan, stop the monstrosity of peanut butter on hamburgers. Okay. You guys, that's what you're talking about. David, I will glance at it. I'm not a huge fan of the Canadian, be honest. The Icon, which is the German model, has its moments. But, oh, you're in Chicago. Okay. Yeah, I never open my other Facebook, Bridget. I swear to God, I don't. I hardly ever open that page. Coming back on Sunday. Yeah, you're going to be getting some rain, Bridget. I don't think it's going to cause delays. Honeymoon Island, the Causeway. Edwin, what day are you asking? No. Maya, sometimes a front, even a weak trough will cause enough change in direction of wind to cause the storm to move in another direction. Does not have to be particularly strong. Yes, Saharan dust does dissipate in August and often retreats north, Mitch. Yeah, Michael, I mean, one of the models the GFS brought it to Texas 6 hours ago. Now it keeps it offshore. As Ryan mentioned, we have a thing called a windshield wiper effect, and it quite often goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until it finally settles down. But here's the thing. It doesn't exist yet. So models trying to pinpoint where something is going to go when it doesn't even have a center of circulation. Remember, those models are fixing their track on a center of circulation. Well, at this point, there is no center of circulation because it doesn't exist. So they're guessing where that center is going to be. If that center is 200 miles more to the north, then that track is significantly more north and east. If that center develops 200 miles more to the south, then that would be a track far more likely to impact the Caribbean and the islands. So overall, until we actually get a center of circulation, right, you're not going to have an accurate forecast. Lisa, Disney looks wet tomorrow and Sunday, less over the early part of next week. All right, where else? Let's go back and look at radar again real quick. Pretty sure radar is winding down, but let's check just to make sure. You mentioned OMG, it's Wix. We're planning on having OMG, it's Wix next Wednesday on DPL+. So definitely still some rain out there, and there's still your flood warning, flash flood warning for areas from Plant City northward. Heaviest rain right now is Manatee and Sarasota County. And if we put it in motion over the last hour, kind of moving more to the southwest. See how the stuff in Pinellas is kind of moving down to the south over toward Manatee? And again, rainfall has been prodigious in the last 6 hours. These are 6 hours totals. So the heaviest stuff has been there's some of your totals since 2 o'clock this afternoon. Really impressive. All right. Well, I will answer a few more questions, and then I'm going to eat dinner. Thank you, Sal. Appreciate it. Peanut butter jelly time. So when Ryan pitched travel ball, the girl that Ryan caught, and her Quinn was her pitcher that she caught most of the time. And whenever Quinn was pitching, she would play Peanut Butter Jelly Time. That was her song that she liked to warm up to, and it worked. Heading to Anna Maria Island for a week. You're gonna have a lot of rain. Next couple of days, you are, Mallory. I think by next week, starting Monday, it's back to more scattered stuff. Okay. Let me see. Scrolling down. You need to fix my auto reply on Facebook Messenger. Yeah, okay, Charlotte. Yeah, I do. I need to go in and check that. I will. I haven't updated that thing in years, literally. Cruise, August 23rd to 27th, Canaveral to Bahamas. Khalid, you should be okay. If something does come that way, it will likely have already passed the Bahamas by the 23rd. So you'll be okay. I know, Diane, that's what DPL is. You guys have your own conversations all the time. I mean, I'm just kind of hanging out here, just kind of trying to keep it on the rails. But you guys are the source of entertainment more often than not. Somebody's saying Facebook is glitching. USF graduation tomorrow, definitely going to be some rain out there. But graduation's indoors, right? Isn't it? Okay. Ryan, I think along the coast, we're going to be borderline arc alert, and I did post that earlier, actually. Anna Maria Island, no, do not cancel, Lydia. I will tell you that I think through the weekend it's going to be pretty rainy, but I think the early part of next week you're going to be much better. So I would definitely not cancel. OMG, it's Wix Shelley is a TikTok / Instagram / Facebook comedian. Really funny. Does videos where he shows existing videos from Florida videos, and he does his own thing with them, and it's very funny. Saharan dust is going away. Sue, I will show you, though. You know what? You asked, so I will show you where the Saharan dust is. Stand by. Right here. So there's the Saharan dust. Still some out there, but if that other wave takes a southerly track, it would miss most of the dust. And I have to change this, but there is the X marks the spot, that wave off of Africa, and that is the one that we have been talking about for the last, I don't know what, a week? Quite possibly a week? Yep, that is the 8 o'clock, Lori. This one, right there. That is the 8 o'clock one, the yellow one. But I mean, again, that's 2 weeks out. It's literally 2 weeks out from even potentially bothering anybody. And the majority of the models right now, at least, are really kind of curving it. But it's possible. I mean, it's too early to know one way or the other. That's why we talk about the ensembles. That is why I dwell and preach to the best that I can. Focus on the ensembles and not the individual runs, because they're just not accurate. I would not be, Tiffany, I never have an issue with going on a cruise ship with anything that's going on out there, because they go in another direction. Yeah, the only time a cruise is canceled is because the port itself is being hit. Otherwise, cruises are fine. I mean, they'll go in another way. I mean, it might be a little rough at times, but you're okay. The only time you're going to see a cruise canceled, again, is when the port itself is closed. All right, Ellen, 8 p.m. update. Got it. Tennis tomorrow at 10 a.m. Ellen, you'll be lucky to get that in because I think between 11 and 12, you're going to start to have some coastal showers come in. So you got a shot. It's probably 50-50. Now, the last 2 days, you would have had no problem because it was all mid to late afternoon. But I do think you're going to see some development closer to the beach a little bit earlier. Miami is not a washout, Danielle. Nope. I don't know, Diane. I don't know how they send stars, actually. I do know what they show up, though, because when they do, we donate the proceeds to Children's Miracle Network. Okay. Is that about it? I'm scrolling through. Thank you, Steve. I will check that. I will check for the funnel cloud out there. Walk your dog at 3:30 in Harbor Island tomorrow, Ren. Ren, do you have a little umbrella for your dog? I bet you do. Ren loves her dog. She has a wiener dog. She has a dachshund, I think. Is it a dachshund? Maybe wrong. I think it is, though. It's a tough one. There's going to be some scattered showers out there at 3 o'clock. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, all that rain in Plant City, Lynn. You guys had a flash flood warning. A couple of us are flying in and out of Tampa on the 20th. Janice, you will be fine on the 20th. Why is it so cold? I mean, we've had clouds and rain because it was 100 degrees last week, so I think in comparison. I'm not sure what Pamela means by this. My friend says she's finally found out that Kilimanjaro is nowhere near Olympus. I must have missed that one. Okay, on a cruise, yep, you're okay through the 22nd. On the 22nd again, Pat, you'll be fine. You'll let this go in another direction. Flight back from South America on the 20th, Kevin, you'll be fine. Okay. Eric, the winds vary wildly depending on the smaller scale features. They change on a daily basis. Thank you, Randy. All stars go to Children's Miracle Network. Flight to Puerto Rico on the 21st. Yep, you'll be okay, Luis. By then, it will have passed Puerto Rico, whatever's out there. And yes, west to south. No, not a westerly flow, Ellen, but you've got a weak up mid-level feature coming through. So that's going to give us more of a southerly to southeasterly flow and bring in that moisture. Boating tomorrow, not the greatest boating day, Zach. Prudy, how you doing? Good to see you. Okay. She has a raincoat. She has a second. See? I thought she was a dachshund. So apparently Ren's dachshund is the second fastest dachshund in the state of Florida. And I noticed it because I remember seeing on your Facebook page you had video of a race. And I remember yours did well. So that is pretty impressive. Okay, just curious, what time will the rain hit tomorrow in Clearwater? Crystal, I do think there will be some scattered showers late morning, but I do think the bulk are still going to be late afternoon to early evening yet again. Okay. Whoever asked the in and out of Tampa question is the GOAT. What is the in and out of question? I missed that one. I missed it. Ryan, I ain't going anywhere. I ain't retiring. I truly, who knows what the future of this business is in general for TV and broadcast, but I will not be leaving this area. At least that's not my plan. And I would expect that there's a demand and a need for local weather, especially in our area. So I would expect that would probably be doing that for a long time. Hopefully it's on TV because I love it here, but you never know what the future has for you, right? Flying out of Orlando on the 23rd. Now, Arlene, that really all depends on if this were to take a southerly track. Look, I would not change a thing. No plans should be changed, altered, rescheduled at all. The odds are much higher This will have no impact at all on Florida, but we'll just have to see again. And all you got to do is look at the ensembles. I'll show you again for the folks new. If you look at the ensembles, look at the majority of the tracks offshore. Now, yes, some do go onshore, and in the latest, Euro, look, I mean, there are some in the Gulf. There's some in Florida. There's some in the Outer Banks. But right now, the majority of these tracks keep it offshore. That's why showing this map as opposed to operational is just so much wiser. Okay. Yeah, Zach, I would. Look, I don't know. That's actually probably out of my wheelhouse. That is out of my wheelhouse. It's kind of like I don't like to tell people, I don't like to suggest canceling a plan because I don't want to have people lose money because of me. I will often, people even in evacuations, I can never tell people to evacuate. I can tell you what emergency management suggests. I can say what my family's doing. But my biggest nightmare, and you guys have heard me say this, my biggest nightmare is telling somebody, yeah, they should evacuate, and then they have a car accident and die on the evacuation when they're leaving. That stuff haunts me. So I can only say what I think a weather condition would be, and I can only say what the emergency management folks are suggesting to do. That's their job. But anything more than that, I just can't. I can't do it. So I am not trying to tell you anything, Marie. I truly, at this point, am just relaying what the ensembles are showing. They've been going back and forth, and that'll continue for probably a week. And then in a week from now, we'll have a much better idea what's going to happen. But do I believe it will be a storm? I do. Do I believe it will be a hurricane? I do. I think this will actually be the first hurricane of the season. We've been talking about it for a week, and now we'll just have to see where it goes. And at this point, that's where we are. All right? So, you guys have a great night, as always. Thanks for stopping by. And, as I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, I'm at the point in hurricane season where it isn't just all fun and games and joking around. There's some messages that need to get across. And I take it really seriously, as does Greg, as does Jason, because we know that people listen and act often to what it is that we say. And I am not going to back down on being critical of those who are not being helpful to people, period. And that ain't going to change. That's who I am. So anyway, you guys have a great night, and I will see you. I might do some updates over the weekend if it gets bad enough, but if not, we'll be back on TV as well as streaming and Facebook on Dennis Phillips Live. You guys have a great weekend. See ya.